pause and listen in to what the management had to say about it.
INDO MIM is essentially a contract manufacturer of high precision components for a wide range of end user markets and segments. We make components for everything from automotive, consumer electronics, medical, defense, aerospace, and energy production.
Okay, and what is the kind of, this is, you're making precision for them, and what kind of, revenue model you have? Is it a order-based thing, or is it going to be, you have a long-term supply agreement with many of your partners?
Yeah, it depends on the customer. Some customers, like aerospace and automotive, have long-term supply agreements. You have a lot of visibility on what their demand is. But some customers, you are just a component manufacturer, you're on a specific platform, and they'll know within the year, roughly, based on their local conditions in whatever country they're in, what their demand is, and then you'll work with them, to establish that and ensure that you've got, everything in place to meet that requirement, which is basically essentially for us in MIM, things like tooling or fixturing that you need to make these components. But like I said, it depends, like aerospace and medical and all.
Bala, you're raising 500 crores in primary issuances. What is it going to be used for?
Predominantly for debt repayment to the tune of about 400 crores and balances for GC and issue expenses.
How much is the debt you have on your books as you speak?
This will reduce about 40% of the debt that we have, or right slightly about 1,000 crores we have as debt. So 400 crores will go down because of this.
Okay. Give us a sense of the kind of margin profile that you have. I've been seeing that it's around 25% for FY26, but it has fallen off from 28% in the previous year. What is the kind of margin profile that you see in your business?
The long-term margin profile will be in line with the overall averages you have seen in the last 3 years. We can't be very specific about what number will be in future, but we feel that the business margins can be sustained in days to come.
Mr. Shivgula, can you also give us a sense of the kind of breakup of your customer base? How much of that comes from India and how much from the overseas market, and maybe a color on your, the profile of the customers that you have?
Sure. I think, the first thing is that we've always been focused on overseas markets. About 88 to 92% of the company's sales in any given year come from are from export markets, with the heaviest concentration being the United States and the next being the EU region. In terms of customer profiles, whatever segment we're in, we're working with the top players in that industry, regardless of whether or not it's turbochargers or firearms or aerospace or land-based gas turbines, or even things like hand tools or power tools. So we're always working with the top 4 to anywhere 10 players in the industry. With also, obviously a very, very big tail. We export to more than 45 countries around the world in any given year, and that number is always increasing to some extent. When you look at not just the components or the systems that we're going into, but the customers and the customer base and the geographies, what you see is that we're very, very well diversified, right? We're very well diversified by product segment, doing automotive, medical, defense, consumer electronics, aerospace, power generation, right? So very diversified across products, across segments, but also but even within segments, very well diversified across geography and application, right? So if you look at automotive, right, we're selling automotive components to about 30 to 40 countries around the world, across all major systems where MIM parts and investment cast parts are used, from things like turbochargers to selective catalytic reduction systems, braking systems, fuel injection systems, right? So we're well diversified across the segments, but even within segments, very well diversified across applications. And within specific applications, very well diversified across, the customers and OEMs that are using that application, like regardless of whether or not it's turbochargers or braking systems or jet engines.
Bala, can you give us a sense of the kind of order book that you're sitting on at the end of FY26? And what is the typical timeline for an execution of those orders?
It depends on the segment in which we are in. Most of the metal injection molded components, we get an order book of about 2 months. Timeline for execution is also about 60 days. And as far as the aerospace components are concerned, normally you get a long-term order, long-term indication, and the delivery timeline is about 3 to 4 months. For IGT, inland gas turbine components also, you get about 3 to 4 months. Visibility for orders is much better in the gas turbine industry and aerospace industry because the end customers also give fairly long time.
And automotive.
Automotive customers give you an indication, but generally the visibility for orders is only about 2 months.
And what is the kind of total order book that you stand at the end of FY26?
2 months sales, sir, roughly. 45 days to 2 months sales. That's what we have.
Maybe a little more.
Okay, and what do you do to ensure that you have typical continuous orders coming in? Are there enough relationships that are in place, or you have any contractual relationship which allows you to get those orders on a recurring basis?
Yeah, the nature of our business is such that we have to make molds for the customers, which are approved by the customers. So once the molds are made, the product orders will come to us only. Most of the cases where we are working with, we are the sole supplier of components for the customers. So as long as the order for the end customer is already there, definitely the order will come to us.
And then in any given year, about 90% of the revenue is from
existing customers.
Is existing orders from repeating customers. I'm sorry, repeating orders from existing customers.